Hello everyone, welcome back to Higher Max. As usual, I'm very excited to have you all here today. We're obviously going to dive into this Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 1, Episode 1 review. Obviously, we haven't had a new Real Housewives in a minute, huh? I'm super stoked to talk about all the things that we learned, the people that we met, and how I feel like these next few seasons are gonna go, if there are next few seasons. Before we continue on, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the socials, they'll be linked right here and in the description box. Also, I thought it's important to mention that not only are we getting episode 2, we're getting episode 3 a week early. Apparently, Bravo is going to be putting it on Twitter. I think stay tuned for that. Go search up for that because I don't want y'all to miss out, because now we're going to have a double review. So I don't want y'all to be getting lost in the mix if you haven't watched that episode. So let's get into this video. So obviously this was the pilot, so it was an introduction episode where we got to know some of the new people on the show. Because it is based in Salt Lake City, there is a very heavy Mormonism theme that goes throughout the episode. We learn about a lot of people's religious background. They have joined the Mormon church, left the Mormon church, etc. Really haven't had in other Real Housewives, we really haven't experienced people talking about their religious background. So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, if you saw the episode, we see Jen Shah plan Meredith's birthday party, and of course, along the way, drama ensues. Personally, it wasn't my favorite pilot for Real Housewives, I'm not gonna lie. Because I don't feel like a lot of the women, which sucks that it has to be this way, but I don't think they add enough, enough spice. I am wondering how we're going to be able to extrapolate a juicy season, if you know what I mean. But at the same time, it was only the first episode, so I don't want to be too harsh. I personally would rate this premiere 4 to 6 out of 10. I felt, because there's a lot of points in times that I was looking away from the screen. But we do have very juicy and interesting things that happen that we definitely need to discuss. Let's talk about Lisa. To be honest, I get Lisa and Meredith pretty much confused. And I don't want to say it's because they're the only, well, they are one of the few brunettes on the show, but it's because, yeah, I get them confused. I think it's because they spend a lot of time with each other and they seem to act pretty similar to each other that I'm like, who's Lisa, who's Meredith? I had to Google to be like, whose party was Jen throwing? The storyline with Lisa is that she gets Heather confused, even though they supposedly went to the same university. From what I'm understanding, they have to have come from a very small community, because the only thing I found shady about her not remembering Heather is the fact that she said she didn't remember her, or like, oh, we didn't know each other like that. But then she had all these details to say, oh, this is a wild party girl, blah, blah. So which one is it? Do you not know her, or you knew her enough to know her character in college? Because I'm like, especially since they're pretty far removed from their college years. It's an interesting fact to remember about someone if you really don't know about them. Because I'm in like 20 years, I don't plan on remembering an acquaintance of mine and their antics if they're not important or in any of my social circles. I'm just hoping that this Lisa and Heather storyline isn't going to continue for more than 2 episodes, because after you saying you don't remember her and you ignoring her at the party, like, there's nothing to talk about. You don't remember her, so now Heather, just don't even talk to her and ignore her. I currently don't really understand or know Lisa's temperament, so I don't want to judge her too much for that. Now, Meredith, obviously, we know her because Jen was throwing her birthday party. Let's not forget Meredith's son. His name is Brooks, and I feel as if he has so much personality. He really, really was a great person for her to showcase from her family on the show. It was super interesting. I like how he would interact with her, with his dad, and I'm just hoping we get to know him more. You know, the same way that we know Lisa Rinna's daughters, Amelia and Delilah. I hope we get to know Brooks a bit better. I hope he gets to have his moment a bit more, because he seems like an interesting dude. TBH, I'll talk about this more when we talk about Jen, but that party was more for Jen than it was for Meredith, and let's not even cap. Meredith looked cute. Like, I love the bright pink outfit, with the feathers, whatever. Really, it wasn't her party. It wasn't her party, and that's okay too, but it wasn't her party, and I'm not even gonna lie about that. Heather, you know, I think Heather seems super likable to me. She seems like a sweet lady, feel bad because you can see obviously she's so grateful for, you know, everything that's happened in her life and stuff. Some parts she wish she could change, especially, you know, because she was very traditional. She's one of the people that I know is very open about the fact that she's Mormon. That's how her husband was raised. I believe that's kind of how her ex-husband was raised. Is a single mom, kick-ass businesswoman. But I need you to move on from this thing with Lisa. Like I just said, please, after episode 2 or 3, I don't want to hear about her not remembering you. You have so much going for you that if she doesn't remember you, you don't need her in your life. You have other great things going on for you. I want you to focus on that on this show. I want to get to know if her daughters are into it. Like, I want to get to know her daughters more. I want to see her like wildish side, because right now she's kind of like, I just want to hug her. I just want to hug her and take her to a corner. I'm gonna be okay, because I feel like she's the kid who was being left out with the way that Lisa was acting. Whitney, I don't know why Whitney ended up being one of my favorites. I think it's because she just seems like a very chill girl. Personally, I don't like seeing vow renewals that often. The only person's vow renewals I was interested in, LVPs, but that's because it's LVP. And if you're not a Real Housewives aficionado, it's Lisa Vanderpump. It just felt I didn't need that. But I guess it was a good way. I guess it was a good way for her to introduce her man, her family, and introduce her story, her background, which was also interesting to me because this girl's Mormon royalty and she's been through the most. I'm actually dead as shook that she was low-key. She was kicked out, right? Like, from what I understood. Which, yikes. Especially since it's, yeah. Now let's talk about the woman of the hour, the woman of the minute, Jen Shah. Let me tell you, Jen, to me, is the LVP of this show. Even though no one can be LVP, she's the LVP of this show, and so far that episode. As far as I'm concerned, she's going to be the one what did the Salt Lake hold? Snowflakes? She's going to be the one holding a snowflake in the front of the crew. Like, this lady, like, she is so funny, and she's also created the most memes. It was cool to, you know, start off the show in her kitchen with her sons and her husband, and to know that they all seemed very natural in front of the camera, especially for a first episode like that. And Jen doesn't even mess around. She doesn't have one assistant. She has a second assistant, probably third, fourth, fifth assistant. Her assistant has an assistant. She's not here to even stress out her assistant because she is like, her assistant will get the help that he needs. Are you understanding? Miss Jen, you have unleashed and unlocked a goal that I didn't even know I needed. But yeah, I love how she is. I love how she went about planning that party. Jen, let's be honest, that party was for you, and that's okay, because first of all, you came to the party late and did a grand entrance, so obviously this is your party. But also the fact that she and the birthday girl were wearing bright pink, and what kills me is the photo. When you went into the party, it had her last name on it, so I was like, this is not, because usually someone has like a photo wall, it would be like happy birthday, the person's name in, or just the person's name, but she didn't do that. So that's how I know it was your party, Jen, and nobody else's. Also really kills me is I love that she explained to us the reality of being a person of color in Lake City, Utah. She was talking about the realities for her and her kids, her husband, and also when she converted. If I find the clip, I'm gonna insert it here. When she has like that one moment where everyone like has been dying over on Twitter because she's actually funny. I think she's gonna not only be the LVP, but she's gonna add so much comedic relief to the episodes. She's serious but not that serious. Like, I really enjoyed that about her. Also, let's talk about what got her triggered this episode. And what got her triggered was her confrontation with Mary. That to me was really the climax of the episode, at the party when Mary and her are having that confrontation. And you know, there's a lot of moving parts to this. Mary, I understand that the smell of hospital affects you and you have bad memories of it, but if you know your friend has been at the hospital because one of her family members is dying, I think you should just kind of be easy. You don't have to restate the obvious. So I always believe that two things can be true at the same time, and this is a prime example of that. Say you're sorry and move on. You hurt her feelings. I don't know who that third girl was who decided to come and up for Jen. I don't know why she was there, because it was unnecessary. Jen can speak up for herself. But anyways, I just think Mary needs to apologize for that. I can understand where Jen's coming from. You know, I'm going through a hard time. You don't need to come here and state the obvious that I smell like hospital. I smell like hospital because someone in my family is going through the most. Okay? And let's get into Mary, because that's not the only problematic thing with Mary. Mary is the controversial person this season of this episode because of her whole thing, her marrying her granddad. And it's really throwing me through a loop. It's throwing all the girlies for a loop because... So I'm just trying to understand, because she says her grandma signed off or told her marry her grandpa. I'm wondering, how do all her other... Because now, see, these are the things that affect me, because her grandmother's grandchildren and children are now Mary's children. The same person that could be Mary's... What am I even saying? I can't even figure this out. The same person that could be Mary's grandchild. Oh yes, so Mary's grandchild can also be her cousin. She could also be her sibling. I'm like, it's just, I understand that in some cultures this is the norm, but it just really threw me for a loop. And she wants to keep talking about it. I don't want you to keep talking about it because I don't get it. I don't plan on getting it. So let's start talking about it. Let's just move on, because the weird meter has surpassed. You're just throwing me off. And now the thing is with you, Mary, is I wanted to root for Mary because first of all, she's the only black girl on the show. And you know, I stand the black girls on Real Housewives. First, your confrontation with Jen, and this thing with your granddad, and then shady stuff I've been hearing about her church. I don't want to get into it because I don't know how valid these things are, but I mean, y'all just Google it. Some of the stuff that apparently goes on there is a bit shady and weird. The only thing I can say for you, Mary, is I can give it as good as you get it. She didn't cower away during that confrontation. I'm wondering if we're going to see more of her family life. I would be interested to see her dynamic with other people in her family. I want to see how that works because I have a suspicion that things in her family are a bit off. I just have a suspicion. Could be right, I could be wrong. Obviously, this is just a quick little review on season 1, episode 1, the pilot of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I need a few more episodes for me to decide whether I feel like there are going to be many more seasons. I heard word on the street they're already casting for new people, so I don't know if that means that some people are not gonna make it to season 2. They're waiting for more ratings to come in. I'm also excited to see friends of the show, because as we know in the past, people like Marlo Hampton, friends of the show, add a lot of spice to the whole thing, especially in such a tight-knit community like Salt Lake City. I'm staying tuned for that. So thank you so much for watching this review. I want to do a get ready with me pretty soon. I want to talk about Potomac because a lot of things have been going on in Potomac, but also a lot hasn't been happening because we've been dragging the storyline, and I think it's time to talk about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you know whenever I upload a new video. Follow the socials, as you can see, linked right here and in the description box. Seeing you very, very soon for another video. Goodbye.